Boom.
Let's see if you can start it right this time.
And we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to episode 8 of the Turn Down podcast with my brothers, Mr. Miles Malone, looking tired and exhausted, with Mr. Tim Edwards, looking fly with good lighting.
Hello.
And your boy, yeah, I know, Kendrick Bowser here, the place to be, man. Wow. I mean, last week, a lot of stuff's happened, man. I think a lot of stuff's happened. I mean, first off, I just personally want to definitely start off and because I'm a Colts fan. If anybody doesn't know, I love the Indianapolis Colts, the former Baltimore Colts. We left for a reason because Baltimore. But recently there was another mass shooting at a FedEx facility out in Indy. I believe killed 8 people, injured like 9 or 10 more. It was something crazy. And it's I think all of them, it's just similar to the Dante. We haven't even talked about Dante, right?
Oh yeah,
that
this week has
happened.
This week was hectic. Adam Toledo. I mean, there was one that happened in St. Mary's County. I didn't hear the name.
I heard about that. Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't hear any specifics about that either. I'm with you, Miles, but it's just been
The general gist of that was kind of iffy too. So I mean, it's been a weird week for that, especially during the trial for Derek Chauvin going on.
Oh, at the same time.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, condolences out to all of the families of all of the tragic incidents that have happened over the past 7 to 14 days. I mean, it's just one of those moments where it's like, I think, because Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery, weren't they around the same time? It was like within a month.
So no, Ahmaud Arbery actually happened. I know Ahmaud Arbery, that incident actually happened. He was actually killed in February of last year. It just didn't get brought to light until March, April.
Breonna Taylor. So when it didn't get brought to light until around the time Breonna Taylor happened.
I think it didn't. I think it didn't get brought to light until George Floyd. I don't think either of them got brought to light until George Floyd happened.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Wow,
that's definitely true.
But they had been like old.
Yeah, man. I mean, just condolences. I think we'll take probably another, a separate episode to talk about that because this one's going to be a bit positive. We got a lot that we want to continue on, but I definitely want to just send condolences, man. Courtesy of the Turn Down to all the families that are going through what they're going through, man. And it's hectic. It's hectic. But tragedy aside, last episode was very great. We had a long discussion. For those that haven't tuned in, go tune in. It's on YouTube and Spotify. But for those that hadn't tuned in, we talked about Yogurt Girl. We talked about the Black Book. We talked about the bitch radar, and how that feels when you're getting called a bitch. Just straight to your face. Boop, boop, boop. Was that just called? It was crazy, but it was crazy, man. It was crazy, but we definitely felt. I mean, I think there's relationships and whatever people consider love to be, that's something you could talk about you could have a whole podcast about that. Like people have podcasts about that, but I think for us, we felt like we had to throw another episode on there as like the cherry on top about like the whole entanglements,
Mm-hmm.
Entanglements. Shout out to Jada Pinkett Smith and August Alsina.
Yeah.
Okay, can we actually talk about the fact that she's messed with somebody, manipulated?
Oh yeah,
and then
was absolutely.
He was like 20 years old, younger than her.
Yeah, the power dynamic there is kind of crazy. Because she's part of the Smith family, which is like relatively powerful in Hollywood, right?
Yeah, very, very.
And then what the heck? Hold up. Whatever. And yeah, that whole thing was just because he came to her looking for like help, like help. Like he came to the family really because he was friends with Jaden, I believe.
Yeah.
and he came to the family looking for like help. Like he was like in a pretty dark place mentally. I think as it goes back to the the mental health thing.
Yeah, and his
Um,
illness. He was sick,
yeah,
like physically sick. Yeah.
yeah. So he came to them looking for help for healing and everything. And at first, that's what the relationship started out as. And of course, there were other factors like Will and Jada. They weren't getting along very well at the time. So then it became, as she calls it, an entanglement between her and August. And it was like, you just took advantage of this person is hurting, and you probably left him worse off.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yup.
Of course.
And like it's it's just
yeah. And I mean, honestly, to each their own. I mean, like, I guess not each their own when it comes to manipulation, but like, when it comes to liking younger people, there's nothing wrong with liking younger people, but it's just it's a certain line that has to be drawn between you being a mentor or you being a partner.
I think that I think there should be some distinction. I think really, like and of course, as you get older, the distance between the partners it's a little bit more comfortable that if it grows like once both parties are over like 25, okay, cool, like do whatever you want to do. There's still like the issue of power dynamic in certain cases, especially in places like Hollywood, where the Smiths are super influential. But if both parties are over a certain age, cool. That's just, but like say like right now, like personally, I wouldn't find myself dating an 18 or a 19-year-old. I'm 21. Ooh, like that doesn't that makes me feel like not okay. Unless it's a 19-year-old that's turning 20 like tomorrow. Maybe even that's a big like you know what I'm saying? So like yeah.
What about the age ain't nothing but a number crowd? What about them?
Oh, well, I think we know what happens to the age ain't nothing but a crowd. Y'all killing me with this shit. I'm fighting for my fucking life. Yeah, okay.
Y'all killing me. Oh,
yeah.
Oh God.
Yes.
Oh, shout out to Kels in jail.
Robert?
No, I said Kels in jail.
Okay.
Sing, nigga. I believe I can fly.
Yeah. So stuff like that. Age is more than a number. There's definitely stuff where it's like where it's a little bit uncomfortable. Ooh, that kind of brings me into a story time. I just thought about this. Ooh. Tim knows the story. We both know the story.
Yeah.
Okay, shorten the story, Bao, because I went back and listened to the last episode. That story was 25 minutes.
That's where the fun is.
Did I not say that Miles' stories are so long?
Oh, I gotta make sure I get all the descriptions in there. We have like we it's fine.
We got an hour and a half, buddy.
Hour 46, 2 hours. That's usually what we're coming in about.
Our average is our hour and 37. That's our average.
I feel like it's higher than that. I feel like it's higher than that because I think most of the time we're like at an hour 40 something.
I think it's an hour 43. It's probably our average.
I'm off by like 6 minutes, roughly.
I feel like
those 6 minutes could be a short story.
Yeah. So, anyways.
Oh yeah, see, 6 minutes could be a short story.
So, well, okay.
Go ahead, Miles. Go on.
This story happens a few weeks actually after Yogurt Girl. So if you guys are coming from the last episode, if you want to have the preface, go watch our last episode. Do it.
Oh yeah.
So still working in music and arts. Sitting there one day, I'm with Rob, our manager at the time. Shout out to Rob once again. It's a Saturday. It's kind of busy. And this woman comes in. I should preface it with that. I was going to be like, oh yeah, this girl comes in. Woman.
Yes.
Comes in and she's waiting. The line's kind of long. We're sitting there and we're helping out customers and everything. Rob gets done before me. He's like, okay, I can help you out next customer. She's like, no, it's okay. I'm good. I'm waiting for him. And that's when, the radar goes off and you're like, oh, word. Now, respectfully, she looked good. Like, pretty good. Like, she looked pretty good.
How old would you say?
Oh well, we get to that. Don't worry, because this is how.
Okay,
How
you
it connects.
find
This
out.
is how. This is how it connects. So mind you, this is between the summer between freshman and sophomore year of college for me. So I'm 19. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, cool. I hear her say this, like, oh, it's okay. I'm good. I'm waiting, just waiting for him. And I was like, he's almost done. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm alert at this point. And I think this is when I had just started working out. So like, it's feeling a lot more confident. The back was straight.
Back straight.
Yeah.
The posture. If anybody knew me like before, like sophomore year of college, posture was not
before
good.
Sophomore year of college.
Before sophomore year of college, because I didn't start working on you the summer after.
That was sophomore. Oh
yeah,
my god,
it was the summer after freshman year, summer between the two that we started working out.
That the entire year of 2020 happened.
Yeah,
literally.
I counted out because it's the same.
So
yeah,
but yeah, anybody who knew me be like before college, really, because I guess anybody even who knew me freshman year of college would still know me now.
No, that brother's back was
yeah, had awful posture, like awful.
Can you pass me that?
Yeah, like it. Ooh. I remember the nicest way that somebody put it. One of my friends said, "Yeah, I can always tell it's you because you look like you play bass. It's like your posture just looks like someone who plays bass." And I was like, "Did this?"
Dang.
No.
But anyway, it's cool now.
No.
You hit the pull downs, and just to change your life. Oh my god, my alarm went off.
That's the alert to get pull downs, man. It's the fix your posture alarm.
Back exercises.
Yeah.
Back exercises.
We good? You're not gonna come up on me again? Cancel. Okay. Sorry about that. So anyways, back straight. I'm feeling a little more confident in myself. I'm starting. It's whatever. We get to talking. She's like, okay, I want to do lessons. I want to be a lesson student. Mind you, so now at this point, I hadn't learned my lesson from Yogurt Girl, and I was like, yeah, sure, let's have another crack at this. So we're talking about lessons and everything. She's like, oh yeah, I want to take singing lesson, guitar lesson. Like, oh, cool. Like, what do you sing? I'm doing the customer service thing because you have to ask. You really want to get to like know the customer and everything, so you can suggest what's best for them. Like, okay, cool. What type of music do you sing? He's like, oh yeah, like I sing like like R&B and everything. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, what does that mean? Because R&B is kind of a broad thing to say. She's like, oh, like Erykah Badu. So now if anybody knows me, I love me some Badu. Like,
yeah, he's a Badu guy.
Yeah. I love Jill Scott too.
He's nah, you a Badu guy, man. You can't connect with Jill. You can't connect with Jill on that level.
I can still
anybody that likes Badu more than Jill cannot connect with Jill on that level, bro.
I never said that. Okay. Anyways,
apparently I can't tell Kendrick's a Jill Scott guy.
Apparently I can't like both of them.
No, I'm not saying you can't like them. I'm saying anyone that likes her more, Jill, you don't vibe with Jill on that level. Because if you vibe with Jill on that level, Jill is elite. Jill is, and Badu's cool.
Whoa, cool. Anyway, you know what? We're getting off topic.
Badu girl in music and arts.
Yes. So I'm like, word, Badu. Like, cool, I got that. I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like I love Erykah Badu. I love all the Soulquarians, all that stuff. I loved all of their stuff. I was talking about, I went to talk about Dilla, how he's influential and all that and everything. And we were having a good conversation. She's like, oh yeah, I also want to buy a guitar. So I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Like, have you ever played? And I'm like, she's like, no. I'm like, what you show me? I'm like, oh, and of course, guitar was before I started playing bass. That's how I got into bass, playing guitar. So I'm like, cool, I can like show you these guitars. This is probably what you're going to need for what you want to do and everything. I'm giving her, demonstrations and everything. Mind you, she's following me around the store. It has to be for like 30, 40 minutes. Like Rob was kind of mad at me, but he was also like, nah, get yours. Do what you need to do. Which is also why we love Rob over here on the TurnDown podcast. Shout out to you, Rob.
Yeah, shout out to Rob, man.
So, she's talking to me and we're like talking about lessons and everything. She's like, okay, cool. And after I set her up for her what is it called? The
Her free
trial
lesson,
lesson.
like
Yes,
the free
the
lesson.
trial lesson or whatever it was. Yeah, the meet and greet. That's what we called it. I remember there's a term that we used. We're talking for a little bit longer and everything, and sitting there. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll see you or whatever. I didn't get her number then because I was a little worried. Like a little wary after Yogurt Girl. This was like a few weeks afterwards, so I wasn't trying to just. But what's
You
important
got to
to
take
mention,
it slow.
yeah, it's important to mention, however, that I was multiple times during a conversation. I was like, yeah, I'm a sophomore in college. Like I just, like, I'm about to be a sophomore in college. Like, I'd only graduated high school like this last summer, been on high school a year or whatever. Just kind of like, I think it just so happened that's where the conversation.
But you're older though. That's the thing. It's not applicable to you. You're older. Sophomore year of college, you're what, 19, 20?
You're older.
Yeah, I'm older because I started.
We're also younger.
Yeah, you guys are younger.
We're younger. Like,
that's part of
we don't turn 21 till December. He turns 22. You turn 22 September.
Yeah, before. Yeah.
So that time you were like
how
19.
that happened was that's why I said I was 19. But I mean, like, a little preface for that. I started elementary school in Arizona, and the cutoff date's weird. So like they made me wait to start school. So that's why I'm so much older than a lot of my classmates.
Ain't nobody judging you because you're older, brother.
It sounded like you were, but
bruh.
All I'm saying. Anyways.
I'm always the youngest person in any class. So of course you're,
Anyways. So we're talking. Okay, cool. I mentioned that, like, hey, I'm like 18, 19. Like, I don't think I straight up was like, oh yeah, I'm 19. But like, if I'm like, hey, I'm going to be in my sophomore year of college, and I just graduated high school a year ago, at that point, like the assumption is like, okay, 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
And she didn't like tell me her age. I didn't ask for it or anything, but I was just like, okay, cool. It just happened to be part of the conversation, like my schooling and everything.
That's right. You never ask the age of a woman.
Yes.
Yeah, please stop doing that if you do it already.
And she left, and Rob was like, and this is where I should have paid attention more to what Rob had said, because he has a lot of wisdom that I think I ignored in my youth. That my youth of 2 years ago. And he was like, yeah, like, damn, no, she looked good. What's going on there? Something's not right there. And I was like, hey, Rob, why you hating? Like, I was just like,
good and likes you.
Yeah,
something is wrong.
Something's off. Yeah.
And I was like, Rob, I'm like, Rob, you're play hating. What are you talking about? Like, I'm like, did you see, like, she had like a tattoo like on her chest.
Nah, something's wrong there.
And he was like, no, she like might have like a kid or something. Like, I'm like, oh, yeah. I don't know. It's like, dude, I don't think you can, like, I don't think you're ready for that. I don't think you're in that stage of being to deal with that. And I was like, whatever, it's cool, like she looked good, cool, it's whatever. And like, why can't a girl who looks good like me, Rob? Like, what's up with that? I mean, something was up. But so she comes in again. The second time she comes in, we're talking a little more. She's like, oh yeah, it's nice to see you again. I'm really excited to start these lessons and everything. She's like, oh yeah, I make music, and my brother helps me produce and everything. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Like, I'm a bassist. Like, if you ever need anybody to play bass, at this point, I'm just like, hey, here's my in. Like, hey, you ever need somebody, you need a musical mind.
He mixing business with pleasure, y'all. That's code word for mixing business with pleasure.
Which you should never do.
Please.
And she's like, yeah, cool. Like, here's my number. This time she gives me her number. So I'm like, okay, that red flag is passed. It's not like, give me your number. Like Yogurt Girl.
Yeah, she gives you her number, right? She gives you her number.
So I'm like, cool. All right. Like, cool. I'll text you. We text back and forth for a few days and everything. And there weren't any red flags. She didn't try to FaceTime me off the rip. Like Yogurt Girl. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like that's cool. We're having some conversation. Sometimes it was like talking to a brick wall. Tim is aware of some of the conversations. I think I've read them to Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, overall, I'm like, you know what, I can deal with it. it'll be whatever. I think at that point, I'm not even thinking about like compatibility. I'm just like, hey, like, what's going on? I'm trying to go to Club Shay Shay.
You trying to take it to Club Shay Shay with the Hennessy and the Black and Milds.
But so I'm like, you know what? I don't even care. Like, whatever, cool. And she comes in. I think at that point, I was confirmed that I was going to be leaving music and arts. So she was like, "Oh yeah, cool. Like, well, if there's going to be an opening, like, I'd love to, like, you know, take your spot." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Like, okay, cool." And she comes in one day to give Rob her application, and we're talking as she's there and everything, and we're like, okay, yeah, cool. It's cool that you're trying to get a job here. You know, like it's a pretty good place to work. I just can't do it anymore because of school or whatever. It's like, yeah, cool. And like, oh, yeah, we'll talk some more. And she leaves. And then Rob looks at me and he's like, Miles, she's 25. And mind you, I'm 19 at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, this is weird. Because she definitely knows I'm 19. Like at that point, like it's been like established that I'm 19, but she never told me her age up until then. And I was just kind of like sitting there like, whoa. You know, like when you turned 18, I was 13. I think that's how I was thinking about it, where I was like, whoa, like I was in middle school when you were an adult. You know what I'm saying?
That's how I think of it too.
Where it was like,
really?
I was like,
yeah.
Well, I mean, even just think
I don't think
like,
that's as bad. I don't think that 25, 19,
so
like I don't think that's terrible.
I think if you look at like 30, 25, or especially 30, 35, Miles said 25. I feel like once you get to 30, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Because that's like you're an adult. But
if I was 25 and she was 30, that's different.
Yeah.
See, but the thing is, 25 and 19, what are you talking about? Are you talking about like dating? Or are you talking about like just like a one-time thing? Like y'all just boom.
I don't know. At that point, I was just like, okay, whatever happens.
Well, I know not for y'all, but I mean like in general. Like in general.
So there's another thing too, in that age difference matters when it's about literally about maturity, right? And I don't mean like, oh, she's mature for her age. I mean like actual. So like the experiences that you go through, right? So, and you have to be an adult, obviously. Yeah. But if we're saying a 19-year-old, let's say 20-year-old, and like 25-year-old or 26-year-old in this case, if you're already living on your own as a 20-year-old and you're like paying bills and stuff like that, and you've got a full-time job, you know, obviously you were in school, and you're at home, so it's different, right? That's a fair case. But I think if you are like, you're on your own, you've been paying bills, you have a full-time job, you have the same life experience now. They still have more experience, but you have a very similar life experience.
So
it's that wasn't the case at that point. It's like I'm 19. At that point, we're different places in our life.
Yeah.
So also, I think of it like me right now at 21 is apprehensive of dating a 19-year-old. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the idea of a 25-year-old person.
Yeah, I'm not with dating. Yeah. I'm not with the dating. That's too big of a gap, I think, to be in an intimate relationship. You know what I'm saying? But I think if somebody like, if it's like at a party or something and you're 19, you know, and she's 25, or if now maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm backwards with this, because I feel like
if it was the other way around, you
girl is 19 and the guy is 25.
Yeah.
There's something, I don't know, and of course both are predatory. Like both can be predatory, but
you feel a little different. Well, see, that's how I was thinking about it. Like, cause I'm like, if this were the reverse, like there's no, like that's,
I think it's because of the kind of inherent power dynamic that society puts. Well, because, and this is not necessarily
and the
true.
nature of men. I think the nature of men in general, like it's just, you know, like women can be manipulative, women can be nasty, they can be abusers, you know, they can be everything.
I feel like, for the sake of the argument, like not even just for the sake of the argument, treat it the same way. I think that's the problem, is that a lot of times we treat it differently.
Yeah. That's definitely true.
And that's how we have a lot of young boys being abused and everything. And it's like, think about it like this. When whenever I hear a story about like a teacher having a sexual relationship with a student in like a high school and everything, half of the exactly it is. But half of the comments, you know, if it's like on like a post, half the comments are going to be like, you know, like I would have never told, you know, like because society's built us up to, especially as guys,
that's nasty. That's
where
nasty.
it's like, oh yeah, no, that means you got it, like you got it, and I'm like, no, you're a victim, like you're a victim,
because like you crush on teachers because it's, you know, like as a student, because it's just how it is, you know, but a teacher should not be crushing on a student. That's
because
not,
the thing is when male teachers do that to female students, like it's immediately like caught, and it's immediately like no, like that's like
women,
it's generally looked at as a thing of like, nah, man, the guy, and that's a problem. That's a problem with misogyny and there's a lot of things that go into that.
I think it's also a problem in the way that we see virginity as well.
The concept of virginity is based in misogyny. Because here's the thing, we have a way, based on the concept of virginity, we have a way to tell that a woman is not a virgin, right? Because we say, oh, you know, the hymen or whatever, when in reality that's not actually true, because the hymen can break riding a bike. You know, so there's one, but what is the way you can tell a man's not a virgin, like physically?
Wait, you say that again.
No, what is the way that you can tell him, like in the same way, like where people determine that a woman is not a virgin based on the status of the hymen, right?
Right.
What is the way that we can do that for men?
It's how loud your engine is.
No. But like you see what I'm saying? Like there's no standardized way to do that, because
virgin comes from Virgin Mary.
The Virgin Mary,
literally about women.
So it's another thing that I think society uses to oppress women, really, because like it's not held as a standard. Like what I'm saying? Like people, as a man, you're more likely to be judged for still having your virginity after a certain age, right?
Versus a woman who can be praised for having it.
Who exactly.
Well, I mean,
that goes to the whole thing about pedophilia too.
The unfortunate thing about like women's status in society is that there is no win.
Yeah,
you have sex too much, you're a slut. You don't have sex at all, you're a prude. You know, there's nothing. There's
nothing you can do. There's no win. No. You can't win in the situation. You're damned if you do, damned if you
just don't. Have to be, as a man, you have to be a mature person, or, you know, a woman going into a relationship, or, you know, non-binary. But you just be a mature person and don't give a shit about a person's past experience. That shouldn't matter.
That's kind of where I'm at with that, where it's like that's not even BS.
But with the 19 and 25 thing, I think that's also more of a moral argument, because legally it's legal. It's very legal for a 19-year-old and a 25-year-old to be together.
50-year-old,
but morally,
you see what I'm saying? Yeah, like the difference.
Yeah, but that's also. But we talking about that. You compare the 50 and 18 to 25. And
you're right.
That's a disgusting gap.
Yeah. You're right.
25 and 19 is still weird. But it's like weird. It's like, oh, you 20. Like I knew a guy, not gonna say any names, but freshman year, actually, Miles, I think. You know,
yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
He was 17 with a 23-year-old.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, whoa, you know, but you know, it was just like, whoa, like hearing that, you know what I'm saying? Like I knew a couple people who were like 18 with 24-year-olds, you know what I'm saying? Like it's you know, it's weird. It's weird. I wouldn't do it, you know, and I don't think it's, but it is legal.
Well, that's where you get into the whole the conversation of legality versus morality, because like I mean you can always take down the legality thing of it. Like slavery was legal at a point. We know that's wrong.
You
see what I'm saying? Yeah. And just because something is legal, like that's like that, because that conversation came up with the was it the Bad Baby thing a few weeks ago.
Oh, and that was fans thing.
That was disgusting, because people were literally waiting for her to turn 18. Same thing happened with the same thing happened with Billie Eilish, where people were literally waiting for her to turn 18 to make comments about her body.
Yeah,
that's so nasty.
So that's where you
so
get
nasty.
like I don't at 18 you're a kid still. Like I'm at 21 I'm still kind of a kid.
At 21 you're a kid. Yeah. I think and I think it also depends again on what you mentioned. It's like with the 19 to 25-year-old, 18 and 24-year-old, life experiences, in my opinion, are huge. Personally, I don't think I would date somebody that's 6 years older than me, but there's nobody out there I think that's 6 years older than me that's seen stuff I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Or knows things that they may know things about, like, oh, maybe a 401k account because I don't have a full-time job that has a 401k. Little small things. But like when you want to talk about paying bills, financing, credit, stuff like that, like the adult things that we're not supposed to know about, people that age, and I think there are a lot of people our age that understand those concepts. Oh, yeah. So it's like, if you understand life to a certain degree higher than other 20-year-olds or 19-year-olds, you may, trust me, a lot of 20-year-olds and 21-year-olds are idiots. Like, besides, of course, I love my girlfriend to death. She's amazing, right? Like, I'm lucky. But I'm saying the majority of people in our age group, if let's say I wasn't in a relationship right now, I truly don't think I would be looking for people 20 or 21 years old. I don't. Because I've seen them and I'm in class with them and I understand the content they talk about, and they're on TikTok all the time, and like they're doing this and that. And like, what I'm saying, like looking for the next party at Towson, like that's 20 to 21. So it's like, I can't really knock anybody that's 20 that goes for a 23, 24-year-old or 19 that goes for a 23-year-old. Like personally, is it morally weird? Yes. But if you have the life experience and if you feel like they intrigue you and you can have conversations with them that aren't talking to a brick wall, what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to settle for somebody that's my age just because it's morally right.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone's morals are different. So like some people might look at that and be like, dog, like my dad, dated my mom at 17. He was 25, which is illegal in a lot of states, but some people more like it's legal in some, and some people can bring that more argument. Yeah. So it just depends. I think it depends on the person. I definitely think it depends on the person.
There are maturity levels, but you have to be careful not to use that then to excuse some, what I'm saying? Like, I definitely understand what you're saying with the maturity thing. But a lot of times people use that argument to be like, well, she's so mature. Yeah. And it's like, and they use it
wrong.
You know what I'm saying?
That's wrong.
Like, there's weird, like,
and that's only for a certain age gap. I'm not saying that for like 30 and 19. You feel me? Like, I'm not saying that for that. I'm saying 18, 23, 19, 25, maybe 24. It's about 5 years, maybe, I can see that. Yeah. It's not right. And I would not do it necessarily.
You're just
but I can
like, you can
see that. I can explain like, hey,
you can understand the rationale behind it. Fair.
Exactly. But not no 30 and 19. You're not coming to me 32 with a 19-year-old and telling me she's mature, shut up, and you're borderline rape. Like you're this close to rape,
it's just
so
really based on a technicality is the only reason why it's not. But
exactly.
And I was gonna say this is so subjective to the situation that we should continue Miles' story, because we could go on coming up with more hypothetical situations.
I mean, the story was more or less done, but it was like, oh yeah, she's 25, and then we were talking, and then and it was like we were talking, and I don't want to get into details because like if it's too specific, then it's like, well, I talked about younger girl, to be fair.
Still, I think it's safe not to get into details. Yeah, you never know who's going to stumble across it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Long story short, I really do value intellectual conversation. Let's say it like that. I value being able to really in any relationship, whether it just be a friendship or with a romantic interest. I really do value being able to have good conversation. Not saying that I want to have talk about have like my doctor's thesis statement, like talking like that all the time, because it's nice to just kind of unwind and just like send memes to your friends or whatever. But I like to be able to have intellectual conversations about like, even if it's just like politics or social stuff, social reform, stuff like that. I like to be able to do that. Or even if it's just about music, like if it's like a common thing like that. In that situation, that was a common thing, was music. And I remember she was like, "Oh yeah, I want to hear you play," and I was like, "Okay, like cool." Whoa. Like I had at that point,
pull out the oboe.
Yes. I was like,
pull out the Aladdin music, the Aladdin
Prince Ali
music.
Forget the Aladdin songbook.
Yes, and I pulled out my oboe, and I showed her my yogurt fridge.
Oof.
But no, I sent a recording of something that I had done.
Get that file.
I had done it with a friend of mine. He had me play at an honors recital. It was freshman year. And he had that recording on SoundCloud. So I was like, yeah, here. And the song starts with just me. It's just bass. Like it's the intro to the song is me walking bass.
Yeah.
And walking bass. So the song is just me. And she texts me actually, she's like, did you come in with bass?
Did you come in with bass?
And I'm like, yeah. The whole first 15 seconds of this track is just me
with bass,
playing bass. So
with
now
bass?
Part of me's out here and like, am I just really like that ass? Like that I just like just didn't know it was a bass. But then I was like, no, there's no way you don't know that's a bass. And she's like, I think I hear it. I'm like, what do you mean you think you hear it?
I'm the only one.
I'm the only one playing. And she was like, yeah, this really puts me in a dance kind of mood. And I was like, wait a minute.
It's at 80 BPM.
Like, what are you talking about? We go medium swing. You're thinking funky samba. What do you mean dance? What are you dancing to?
She's gonna remember the time when we on Rock With You.
You can dance to Rock With You.
You can dance, but not like you dance to Remember the Time.
That's true.
Remember the time is like you moving. You know what I'm saying? Rock With You is a nice, smooth side to side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
you're right.
was
you're
on.
Right. No, you're right.
Oh.
But yeah, essentially, and I don't think you should ghost people. But sometimes
I think certain situations require it.
Situationally.
Yeah, situationally. I've been there before. I've ghosted one person. I've ghosted actually a couple, but I know I definitely ghosted. It was like sophomore or junior year. I met this girl like a carnival, and I think she went to Glen Burnie or something like that. You know, and it's like those are first mistake, right? First mistake. Very bad school. I don't care if they hear this. I don't care. Glen Burnie, no. Just
well,
please.
I mean,
yeah, sue us, Glen Burnie. They don't have
you
the
look
money.
Sue us.
They don't have
the
to sue
money.
us.
The building, I mean, we had a pretty bad building too. Theirs is like
their building is trash.
Brick walls, barbed wire. We said ours was a prison. Yeah, that one was literally.
And honestly, I've been to a couple of schools in the county. I went to Southern for a wrestling competition. I went to Meade. I went to Glen Burnie, and those are all of like the lower echelon, I guess, schools that people consider in the county. And like, Old Mill is very nice. I will say, I definitely appreciate. We had mice. That's one thing. Old Mill Auditorium, bro, had mice like crazy.
Kendrick, we also didn't have walls.
Yeah.
Not real ones, at least.
Oh, yeah.
For most of the
See,
classes.
I was so used to it.
Exactly. You're like, it's pretty nice, but then you forget people are throwing staplers over the half wall.
But the thing is, most of my classes throughout high school, maybe it was because I was in IB, they had walls. Literally.
So,
I had Dr. Hill,
science section. Yeah, so
Miss Bowen, Mr. Vashon, Miss Lily. No, Miss Lily didn't have walls. I had a couple classes without walls. Miss Paget had walls. Like I had a lot of teachers with walls. So I guess I wasn't in, I wasn't in Miss Smith.
Yeah. No, pretty much every class I was in, you could hear what they were playing.
Yeah.
At any time.
And they could hear what we were playing. You do your math quiz, and the stapler comes out of nowhere. Yeah, you're out for 2 weeks.
Man.
Real trap shit.
Real.
What are they listening to in there?
Real
Walk
trap
with your
shit.
boys.
Walk with your boys.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Mama.
What?
So I ghosted, and I
ghosted the girl.
She was. I was 0-2 that summer.
Yeah, it happens. You got.
She messaged me at like 3 a.m, one time, and that's when I realized I was like, oh hell nah. I just blocked the number. And it was something stupid too. It was like messaging me, like asking me about like, I think it was something about you going to the next football game. Like, don't message me at 3 a.m. and ask me if I'm going to a goddamn football game. If it's something free, maybe I'll reply because I'm not. You ask me if I'm going to go pay money to watch a football game at Glen Burnie High School? You crazy.
See, I don't care what time a person texts me because I keep my phone on silent all the time, especially like when I sleep. So it's just like I'll get to it. Like you just got to know, like I'll get to it when I get to it.
It depends on the person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the person. Yeah.
Yeah. So in general, I would say, all right, you should like tell a person, hey, listen, this isn't working for me, and
right,
you know, that's it. I know that's hard to do, of course. You know, and when I was on dating apps and things like that, you know, we'd generally be like, I'd be like, hey, listen, I'm really busy, you know, and that was really true. It's like, I'm really busy. I'm not ready for a relationship right now because
that's one thing I think.
Yeah. But so, and, you know, I feel like in general, this is a courtesy thing. I'm not going to, I mean, I'm in a relationship right now, but I wouldn't do this anymore. And saying like, you know, hey, but you know, I do appreciate the conversations we have. If I do actually appreciate the conversations we have, and it's like, yeah, it'd be cool if we can, you know, still communicate. You know, we can still be friends. And they're like, yeah, and then we both never text each other again, and I'm cool with that. That's like the expectation, you know,
because the still be friends thing is like friend zoning. It's like, look, we ain't gonna ever be together, but can we be cool?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they'd be like, nah.
Especially when you're not on a dating app, like that's kind of like,
I mean, it's like, hey, you know, whatever. But this thing is like, it's really low stakes. However, there was one time, and you guys remember this. This was in the summer. This was like before I met.
Sister too.
Dude. So
all power people.
Yeah, I met this girl on the dating app. And yeah, so we were talking for a little while, and you know, we had some days where like, you know, we it wasn't FaceTime because I don't have an Android, but you know, we just did like calls and stuff like that. So you know, and it was nice, and, you know, it was just like getting to know you kind of stuff. And for a while, I was like, there was one point where like she was going on a drive or something like that, and like kept telling me, and this is like I've known this person for like a week, and like she just kept saying like, I really gotta pee. I'm like, cool, sorry.
Whoa.
You know, and you know, that's like one thing. I'm like, okay, you're ranting to me, that's fine, I don't care about
but
that.
We aren't that comfortable yet.
She like kept saying it. She like kept saying it a bunch, and I was like, all right, thanks for that information, I guess.
Oh,
don't drink more water. Days. I don't know. Find a stop.
And also, why are you on the phone with me when you're driving? I hope she wasn't holding it.
It was well, yeah, no. I think she was on.
Oh, you were texting. She was texting.
Yeah, texting. But I don't think she wasn't.
But
driving.
She was in the car.
Yeah,
got you. Okay, that's
But yeah, I was still like, that's cool. And so, later, it's just like the conversation just kind of got drier and drier, and I was like, I'm not really feeling this. So, you know, I did what I usually like do. I was like, maybe I'm not ready, you know. And then so I told her that, and like, okay, you know what? Well, you know, maybe we, because it is, you know, it is still interesting to talk to people, especially at that point. It's 2020, so you know, we're all quarantined. That's why I got on the app actually in 2020 specifically, because I was like, I'd need to meet some people. And so that happens, and then like I don't talk to her for a while. And then like it's like a week and a half later, maybe something like that, she texts me again and is like, hey, like, are you ignoring me? I'm like, what?
Whoa.
And so I'm like, no, you know, and it's just like, but like you didn't text me either. And so
you guys just wash your hands.
Yeah. And seriously, and I'm like, you know, I think I wasn't able to, I don't think I spiritually was able to say, I'm done with this. Don't text me every day. But then like, you know, so then later, and it was continued like that. And I was just like, I don't have time. You know, I was like, and then later, like she texted me again. It was like, hey, listen, like you are blah, 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 blah. And like told me all of this, like this is what you're doing. And I was like, okay, yeah. I just like, honestly, I really like, it's not like I just don't have time. Like I don't have time for relationships or anything like that, but I just don't really have time to build anything. She was like, but you said we could be friends still. And I was like, okay, but like,
whoa.
and I felt really bad because it's like, oh, maybe this person really needs a friend, but I was like, oh my goodness, it was really weird. And then I was like, all right, I actually don't have like the capacity at this point to
You're weird. You're weird.
Well, I didn't want I'm not gonna say that, but it was like I don't have the capacity to build another friendship either. And then she was like, increasingly getting mad. I guess it was text, and it was just like, she didn't like call me any names or anything like that, so it was okay. But it was just like you don't know what you're missing. All of this, we could have had a great thing going, and it was like, I was like, okay.
She tried to turn an L into a dub just now.
Yeah, dude, and I was like, what? And so I was like, all right, this is like really weird.
She thought she was gonna win the race from last place.
Yeah, and I said,
we almost had our first.
You don't know what you're missing.
Down. And then I said bye, and then that was it. So
you don't know what you're missing,
dude. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, no. If you get ghosted, just take it on the
Yeah,
take it in your stride.
I get it. It sucks.
Like
I've been ghosted too. Like it's one thing. I think ghosting is like there's. It's one thing if like the conversation kind of stopped because it was dry and like nothing was happening.
Yeah,
you know. I think it's another thing if you're connecting with the person and you're like, hey, like. Are you free to hang out or something like that? And the person's like, sure, but I'm really busy right now, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. But they're like, but I do want to hang out with you, right? And then
it should have been me.
It should have been me.
But here we are.
But then you
and we know who it turned out to be.
Yeah, and then what happens is like, all right, hey, would you like to hang out this time? Because they say, yeah, I do want to hang out. And then guess what happens? Nothing. No text at all. And it's funny because I think we can all relate to this. This happened to me.
We've all been there, bro.
This happened to me twice in the past year. And not this before I met Melissa.
And the thing about the people that ghost me or that have ghosted me in the past is like, I mean, maybe I sound like cocky or whatever, and I really don't care because you ghosted me. But it's like, you're not even good enough to be ghosting me, bro.
Yeah.
Like, especially when I look at you now, like when I see some of the people that have ghosted me now, I'm like, whoa, like, no. And then actually one of those instances, the person turned around, like come like senior year and was like a different attitude. Like, oh, Kendrick, hey, what's up? It's been 2 years, ain't it? I'm like, my kick was active until I deleted the app.
Yeah.
Okay. And I didn't see a message in my requests at all from you. And I remember I texted her. This is when I texted, I think I said something and the conversation ended like, oh, we should link up tomorrow during like lunch, during like Red Block or something. We should link up tomorrow during Red Block. And she left me on Red.
I beat you a Red Block.
Man, that's an old school sentence.
That's vintage old mill.
That's just freshman year or sophomore.
It's like freshman, a little sophomore. I think it was a little sophomore,
like half of sophomore year.
You going for Red Block? You going to the auditorium Blue Block?
Okay,
I'll meet you right there, girl.
Oh,
what's the movie today?
Oh my god! Do you guys remember? Were either of you guys there when I was in the band hall and I think I was practicing or something like that, and there were like a bunch of guys. There's this group of guys who obviously didn't know anything about music, and they come into the band hall and it's like the instrument storage area. So I'm like practicing in there, or I was about to go practice in there, and they're like walking in, and these are guys who have never been in the band hall at all. So they're walking in, they've got a little strut going, and the one kid goes to a bass, an upright bass, and he goes, man, this is a big ass guitar, and starts like going, and we're all like, and so one guy he goes to like pick up my Barry, and I'm like, no. I'm like, no, that's mine, yeah. Were either you guys weren't there?
I remember the big ass guitar comment.
Yeah,
and
you might have told me about it.
That killed me.
A shiver running down my spine.
Yeah, they were about to pick up my Barry sax, and I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
but bass
is not just a big ass guitar.
It's not. It's a big backwards violin. Thank you.
Exactly. It's a big ass guitar.
Oh my
Hey, yo, this
God.
cello big as fuck. What's going
That's
on?
basically, like, man,
Double basically. Anyway.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I think the
That's me
whole
slapping my
ghosting
knee.
thing, like, I think the ghosting thing definitely depends on like who it is. And I mean, honestly,
It depends
instead
on the
of ghosting,
situation.
I feel like people also need to learn to really give things a chance. Like you can't just cut.
Yeah.
You know, like not. Of course, if the person is weird, if the person is doing things you don't like, get out of that situation.
Yeah.
But if it's just
don't
like
don't put yourself through an uncomfortable situation. Absolutely don't.
yeah, but if I'm just single and because a lot of people wind up to going on these apps because they're bored. So you're going on an app, you're talking to these people to have conversation. You have to have regard to the other person's feelings, right? And if it's something that's like, oh, it's cool, but I just don't know if I feel like doing it, at least tell them
say that.
Yeah,
that like
you know,
before,
because
saying no is not rude, and that's something that a lot of people need to learn.
no is definitely the nicest thing that you can do to a lot of people. I mean, just
ghosting
no.
probably hurts more. It's better to just be like, hey, you know, this isn't gonna work out, and just be like, all right, because of course that's still gonna be ouch, but at least you had the respect for the other person to be upfront with them about it. I think with ghosting, and of course, like we said, it depends on the situation. Like if it's a situation where something's like, oh, it's a little off, and like you're getting creepy vibes, get out. But if it's a situation, especially like what Tim was saying, it was very specific, hit me very near and dear in the heart. That's almost like that's over. It's like a year and a half ago now. Still fresh now. That's cool. We're good now.
Do you want to hang out? Yeah. All right. Well, I'm free this day. Do you want to do something? No text.
Pretty much is what happened.
Yep.
It was just kind of like
happened to me a couple years ago.
Stuff like that, where it's like don't pretend that you want to hang out if you don't. Like,
just say no.
Just say you don't, bro.
Because then I can be like, yeah, I can be like, damn, that hurt, but thanks.
It doesn't hurt nearly as much as the disrespect
of like dragging somebody along and like saying like, oh yeah, like I'm definitely down to hang out.
If you say no, and this is across all like walks of life, like this isn't even just relationships, but if you say no, then that person knows that it's like it's not them, or you can say that or whatever, even if they think that. But if you just ghost them, then there's a higher chance of like, what did I do? Did I say something to scare them? Did I do something weird? What happened? And it's just disrespectful. Like if you got something due or something like that, like don't just like fall off the grid. You know?
And I think, I don't know, one of the ways that I kind of cut down on like, and I didn't really go through ghosting when I got older. Once I got to like junior, senior year, I kind of like changed. I don't know. I didn't really deal with it much. But I know one thing that really, I just stopped chasing, man. I think a lot of people out here, men and women both, like stop chasing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no, life is life. You're going to live it once. I understand people want to be in a rush for something, want to be in a rush for like, intimacy, have it. Everybody needs to stop chasing. If something's going to happen, it's going to happen. If not, it won't. So if you keep texting this person, yo, girl, so, what I'm saying? Some people like really obsessive with it. I honestly, I've seen women that are more obsessive with like finding something and getting on, like getting on a relationship, getting on something like I think women, like if they want it, they go for it from what I've seen. Like they're not hesitant and they will keep pushing like dudes like, yo, this guy's not right. Okay, bet next guy who's right. And just like stop chasing. I don't know. I feel like the best things come from when it's really unexpected. And it's like, oh damn. Like,
but
this
I think
is
it's
great,
also I think just to put a note on that, if there's like a situation in which like you gotta pull the trigger for something to happen.
Yeah, man. You need to, bro.
Yeah.
Throw the arrow at him. But
I think it depends, because I think a lot of it, part of that is a societal thing, especially at our age. Because I mean, of course, 40, 50 years ago, at our age, I've been married for 2 years. At 21, I've been married for 2 years, and I have a kid and another on the way. You know what I'm saying? In the 50s or 60s.
Right.
You're in the army.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I'm overseas fighting evils and then coming back and being called a nigger. But anyways.
Oof. Yeah.
So I think as that gets passed down, people start telling us, oh, well, you should do this and you should do that. And I'm like, well, times are different. Like, yeah, like, yeah, sure, you're not divorced. You've been married for 40 years, but you guys don't love each other because you guys never, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how a lot of those loveless marriages come to place.
Yeah.
Being able to get divorced, especially as a woman, was damn near impossible at that time. I mean, even up until the 90s, like, if you're married, like, a lot of the stuff you had to sign with a man, like, for buying certain stuff into the 90s. So I think now that we have some of those structures in place where we're allowed to, you know, we don't have to connect ourselves. We don't have to, you know, like in a legal bond,
right?
Anymore. We have more time to kind of to make those decisions and find ourselves and be like, you know, like, you know, this is for me or this isn't for me right now. But the mindset of I gotta find my wife, gotta find my husband, all that stuff at such a young age is still there as a residual effect of the past. And granted, some people do, you know, they do find that, but it's really dependent. Like, it's not. Different people grow at different times. Sometimes you do find the right person, and it's like sometimes it's a right person, wrong time thing. There's a lot of times where there's a wrong person, right time thing. And then you find yourself in a situation where it's like, damn,
I've been there.
2 years later, and I realized like this wasn't it.
I was with somebody that was definitely wrong person, right time. I mean, and that's another thing I want to definitely talk about, because it's like, I feel like people need to stop letting sex put you into relationships. Stop, please, for the love of God, stop doing that. Just because you might have boned them or you might have boned her, please don't feel obligated to date that person. I done it, and as much fun as I had, I think as much as I learned more about myself. I think that's the wrong person, right time thing that we talked about, because the person was great, right? Like I just want to go on there and say that the person that I'm speaking about was great, but
it wasn't right for you.
It wasn't right for me. It wasn't the right time.
Yeah,
it wasn't the right time. I was going into my senior year.
But it was the right time because you learned.
Wrong person, right time. Yes, right. It was the right time to do something like that, but it was the wrong person, and I felt like I was trapped. You know, because it's a situation where, you know, friends and people are you know, knowing of us, you know, being together intimately, not in a relationship, but, you know, physically, and that was immediately tied into, oh, okay, so when are you guys gonna date? And it was pressure. Like, it was pressure. And me personally, I'm not really like, I don't succumb to pressure, like, physically, whatever. Like, I don't give a damn. But when it comes to, I care about people's feelings. I do. I think people that I truly care about, I will give a damn about your feelings.
Well, that's good.
So, and that's, well, yeah. I mean, if you disrespect me, fuck you. Like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? But like, if it's somebody I'm close to, I care about your feelings, of course. So in that situation, I was very close. We were friends, but there was just, at the time at 17, like, I was, you know, I think sexually, of course, like, I was still like learning things, and I was like, whoa, like, you know, life was really opening up, and all of that in my head with the pressure of having to date somebody just made me say, okay, let's date. And it was just like, nah, man, nah, like, that's not it. Because looking back on it, first of all, the way it ended, I hurt the person. I did. You know what I'm saying? You wind up truly hurting that person, because they're going into it, hey, this is a, you know, they're going into it right person, right time. But if you're going into it wrong person, right time, when you let them know they're the wrong person, you know, it's just gonna hurt.
Because they thought you were the right person, even though you did turn out to be the wrong person.
Exactly.
Right.
And like, I think,
my God,
that's
man,
a communication thing, you know, saying, like you said, don't let that entrap you. I think part of the issue is like getting to know people. I think there's a few parts of a relationship that make things work. I think first and foremost, the most important, the strongest relationships are built off of very strong friendships, whether those are pre-existing or they come about based on, you know, based on a relationship. So like, I know Tim,
thank you.
you didn't know Melissa before you started dating her.
But Yeah, but that like first date, I mean, well, I mean, we talked like we were texting things like that, and it was like I was texting one of my best friends. So
yeah,
it was like, all right, this is probably gonna be good. And then first date, I was like, oh wow,
yeah,
really cool.
So I mean, that's one of those things. It came about later. So like, I don't think no matter how you how it comes about, whether it's a pre-existing friendship or it's something that comes about after you guys start talking, the friendship needs to be there because once the honeymoon phase is over and she's not sweet anymore.
And ladies and gentlemen, the honeymoon phase lasts a year. Please, can we correct that? People think it's only 5 months. Yeah. I think it's a year normally. I don't know. I think it depends. Give it for some. It depends on how the quality of your relationship.
That's what I'm saying. Well, that's what it depends.
If your relationship's really good, it'll be a year.
It depends person to person. To be honest,
I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a one size fits all kind of thing.
Well, what do you think the honeymoon phase is? Because I think honeymoon phase is a lot of things. It's not just
that's actually also true. What do you describe it as? I think it's
the numbness. It's the numbness to the things that I think it's the numbness to the things that you find out you don't like about your partner.
Yeah,
it's the numbness to them. That's one of them. It's like, okay,
generally what I think
after a year you start seeing like this shit is annoying as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like this is really pissing me off. I went through it. Like there were certain things I think that happened with Amanda and I had things that eventually she'd be like, yo, I don't fuck with this. Like this is not cool. Because the time that you're dating is going up, the trust that you have is going up, but also
spending together in each other's space
is going up. So as that's all rising, things are going to start to get, they're starting to come out. And I think also when if you're lucky enough, spending nights together, that'll show you like, oh my God, you brush your teeth like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you be farting, how you live.
Yeah.
That stuff all filters in.
She
just pooed it on me, bro.
Yeah. Fart in front of your partner. I hope there's a closeness enough to be like, damn, that was kind of crazy. Or like at the very least.
She farted all the time. She farting, burping. She farted on me.
I'm sure she appreciates putting that on the podcast.
I do the same thing.
It happens, man.
Hey. So any guys that's listening, because Amanda's a very beautiful woman. If you think you're gonna come up, you're gonna smell my farts. You're gonna smell my farts, bro. Because I've been there.
What?
Okay.
Oh no.
Then you're going to smell farts. This might
not pretty.
This is a clippable moment.
Yes.
They're not pretty. I'm just saying, like straight up, like it's genuine. And then ask, and then see if you get comfortable enough to do something like that. She probably smack you, but I could do it. We're comfortable.
All right. Yeah.
So I think that's part of it. Comfortability, actually.
Yeah. I think it's something that Hey, something that I think is really important in relationships, and this is something that older generations would not agree with, in that I think you have to live with a person before you marry them.
That's oh my God, that's mandatory.
Because this is my reason why is because being with a person and knowing them is one thing. Living with them, completely different. Changes everything. Could change it for the better, could change it for worse, all of that. And you got to work through it either way. And you got to figure out, hey, will I be able to handle this? But that's absolutely an important thing. And I feel like because a lot of, in older generations where you have the expectation of you have to get married first before you move in with a person. Otherwise, you're heathens, right?
You're burning.
Yeah. Unclean.
Jesus he's gonna be very mad at you.
Yeah. And that comes from that concept of virginity, right? But I think that those relationships started very early, because we want to get together. We also have a shorter life expectancy because it's
it's 1940. Yeah. And the water is lead.
Yeah.
Just lead.
Yeah. So you're going to get together really early and you're not going to know each other that well. Even if you've known each other from high school to high school to 20, you won't live with each other until you get married. You get married, you start living with each other, then you have kids. Oh, you realize you're not compatible with each other living. Then you realize you're not compatible with each other as parents. you know, but you were supposed to have kids because that's what everyone is doing.
So I got 30 years.
Yeah, parenting is a whole nother thing.
And that's a whole other thing too. Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And I don't really think that.
I think if you can work together through, living together, I think that's one step of the process that you don't have to figure out after you're already legally binded together.
Yeah, I think.
But that's another step too. Legally binding can change relationships.
Yeah.
So what you about to say about, you said we should be careful. What about
about going into like parenting and stuff, especially since
we're not parents.
We aren't parents. Yeah. So there's certain stuff that we just don't know.
No, I'm saying parenting can definitely, you can think that you guys are going to be good parents.
No, absolutely.
It turned out not to happen.
But there's only so much that we can say on that.
I'm not going to talk about how to be a parent. I've never raised a kid.
Yeah. What I do know for sure is that whenever you say, I won't parent like my parent, at least one thing will be the same.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's tricky. It's tricky with that stuff. I just feel like it's definitely very important, like Tim said, to live together first before you talk about any marriage. But that I think people just need to realize, like, a relationship is great, whatever. Everything takes time. And I think the honeymoon phase is one hell of it's like a pill or like a drug. Like, some people think like, yo, this is amazing. We go out to movies, we do this. It's like, yo, let that, have fun. I'm not saying don't enjoy that, but just start to pay attention. Just pay attention.
I think
because after a while, you'll start to see some things. And I definitely saw some things where it upset me. It upset a Manny in past relationships. There was one relationship I was in where after like 7 months, like mentally, I feel like I was tapped out. I really feel like mentally I was tapped out. And then mind you, the first 7 months were splendid. But for the last like 2 months of it, I was gone. Intimacy gone. Mentally, I was not with the relationship. I was gone. And it's not like I was on another girl, like I was just mentally, I was just drained. I was done. It was just like, there's nothing, because sometimes some relationships are all honeymoon and then nothing else.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but I think it's definitely something that people need to observe.
Yeah, I think the ones that seem like they're all honeymoon and nothing else is because the people communicate and they decide, all right, we're going to work through this. Because that's when you get to that point. I mean, I've had this in all of my, because I've said before that I have pretty short relationships because I have not necessarily high standards, but I have very specific kind of wants and needs. And as I've gotten through relationships, they've been pretty short because I was like, oh, you know what, this won't work. I know this won't work. But I always get to this point where I'm like, is this really what I want? Because I'm kind of scared of, continuing a relationship now. And at least this past one, I said, yeah, this is worth it. Like, hell yeah, it's worth it. And now I'm happier than ever. But at that it's pretty much the same time. And it's not a lot of time. I don't know. It's like a month, 2 months, maybe 3 months in of like knowing the person. That's when I'm like, ooh, I don't know, But then it's like, is this worth it? And you got to ask yourself that question. And that's the same thing with marriages. I know, I don't know this obviously from experience, but I've been told this, in that every marriage has at least one point, especially one like huge point, where you say, is this going to end? Is this worth it to keep going? And you got to say yes if it is worth it, or you say no and you're done. And actually, I will say one thing about because I actually talked about this with my Nana, who's my mom's mom, so my grandma on my mom's side, and she was saying that she got married pretty young to my papa, and it was, and they didn't live together before because it's that generation. And so she said that they hit that point in their marriage where they were like, is this going to work? Are we going to have to end this? And it was because they were married that they said, no, we should stick through this because we're married. This is what we should do. And now they're happy. Like, they've been happily married for so long. And there's kind of a ebb and flow. I think that it depends on the person. If you're not comfortable with living with a person before you're married, then that's fine too. But I think that it certainly helps you know.
And I think that I think that comes back to the thing of, you know, knowing your partner.
Yeah.
I think the reason why people always say, you know, like friendship, you know, strongest relationships are built on strong friendships is because when you truly are your partner's friend, like I take my parents for example.
Yeah.
My parents met when my dad was a sophomore in college and my mom was a freshman in college. And I think the story goes is that my dad's roommate was trying to talk to my mom's roommate. So he was like, "Ayo, Antone, like let's do this like this little sister debate,
double date,
the little big thing, you know, like yeah, you can like talk to her roommate, whatever." And it just so happened that they were both from Michigan, so they were like, well, my mom, she was born in Michigan, and then she grew up in Jamaica until she was about 9, I think, and then she moved back to Michigan with her mom.
If you couldn't tell, Miles is Jamaican.
Yes, big up, the green and gold.
Wagwan.
Anyways, but you know they were like, okay, cool, and I think I'm not sure if at the time my mom was dating Tony. Tony's a guy who my mom used to date during college before she started dating my dad, who was, by all accounts, from like my dad and her and my mom and my grandparents, not the greatest person. But Tony. You know, my mom usually says, you know, like, you know, whatever, I was young, you're stupid, you know, it's cool.
I think everybody's been with somebody who shouldn't have been with someone.
With a Tony.
With the Tony.
And so but like, you know, like my parents were just very good friends through all of this. Until I think they started dating my mom's junior year, so it was my dad's senior year of college. And because they took, you know, those few years to just legitimately, like genuinely just be friends, they got to know each other, you know, on a certain level, because they were, you know, like dating other people while they were friends. You know, they talked to each other about stuff like, you know, like, oh, this and that and this and that. So by the time, like, it was almost weird. It's almost like they kind of molded each other into like the perfect partners for each other.
Yeah.
I mean, now they've been, I mean, this in August, it's going to be what, 23 years they've been married. I think they've been together for 30. If I'm not sure if my math's completely correct on that, but
you grow and change together, I guess.
And that's the thing, like,
I guess, but that is
because, and that's another part of it. Sometimes even with the strong foundation, you can't always guarantee that somebody's going to be right to grow and change with. And you know, sometimes that's part of life. That sometimes doesn't work out like that. Yeah. But I think to have the best shot at it, being really good friends with somebody, even if it's, you know, even if that friendship comes after the relationship has started, right? It goes a long way, because you don't have to worry about, ooh, what do I not know about my partner? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's like, damn, we talk all the time. You know, we know about each other's, you know, past experiences and whatever. Nothing's going to come up that's going to be like, not nothing.
Yeah, but because
they're definitely
come up. Yeah, and people do, and you know, like I said, growing together, that people change over time.
What type of things? What type of things you talking about coming up?
Oh, no. It's like, it's just more like certain like personality things sometimes that are like, didn't know that.
I thought you were talking about things that, like, I thought you were talking about like real like skeletons in the closet that's coming out.
Not stuff like that. No, not stuff like that.
Wait a second.
I don't think stuff like that would come up. Yeah. But like, that's a trust issue. Yeah, you should definitely be open up stuff like that with your partner.
Yeah.
But stuff like, you know, like, oh, I didn't know you did that. Like, that might rub me the wrong way.
Yeah.
But because you're friends, right? First and foremost, the core of your relationship is a friendship. Once the honeymoon phase is over, the honeymoon phase is a little different, because you already know, you've had the time to say, this is what I like and this is what I don't like.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, the honeymoon phase just serves as a way to kind of say, this isn't as grating right now, you know, but because you're friends, it's like, I'm aware of it, and I've already made the decision that that's not a deal breaker for me. So it goes a long way. It just goes a long way in knowing who your partner is as a person.
Yeah.
And honeymoon phase aside, like another big thing besides the honeymoon phase is understanding that is making sure that you know that your partner is going to be with you as heavily through all situations.
Yes.
I think that's big. That's vital. That's more, to me, that's more important than the honeymoon phase, because honeymoon phase is just about, you recognizing certain things about your partner and
you're talking about how can we work on things together.
Yeah, no, because that's
no. I just mean making sure that your partner's going to be there.
Yeah,
through everything.
When
like you know that. If you can honestly say with everybody, I think anybody that you're with and you're calling it a serious relationship, you should be able to confidently say, yeah, I could get paralyzed tomorrow. I know they'll be there 100%. And feel that in your heart and know that, because it's very important. I was so nervous about that because honestly, now Manny's my first very serious relationship, like very serious. I'm 100% set on it. This is, I'm envisioning stuff. This is my very first one like that. If I've done it in the past, it wasn't to this degree, right? Like I wasn't mature enough to understand some of the things I'm talking about. But we started out at a low point. We started out with me being super broke. We were not going on dates. I couldn't afford it, right? Like we were probably going out little cute places, trying to be cheap with my money. You know what I'm saying? But like for a person that's, I think 18 or 19, not everybody wants to be like, you want to be going out to movies, you want to be going out to eat. And it was like this for damn near a year, like, and more than that, because I was still broke for a long time. So like she was able to really see me scrap for it, get everything, work multiple jobs, be out here sweating, like crying because I don't have no money to pay my car insurance, like crying because I got to figure out how to pay this $600 repair on my car. You know what I'm saying? Like all of this. She was sitting there and I was nervous because I never had somebody in my life like that, especially a girlfriend who was like, I was nervous, like, oh man, she comes from a different background. She comes from a privileged, nice upper middle class, maybe I guess you could say upper class, like very nice family. So she had never had to see anything like that. But that to me was my test. For her to do that early on in our relationship and not budge. Matter of fact, she offered to pay for some of the dates. I didn't take it because I'd made us a pride thing. You know what I'm saying? But like for her to come out and say, you know what, Kendrick, no, I'll pay for it. I just want to be with you. We could go to McDonald's. I'm taking Manny some real sketchy places. You know what I'm saying? So I think you really have to see. And of course, we're going to continue to see, right? We haven't seen everything together. But I am confident to say right now, I don't think there's anything that's going to break it. I'll roll with all the punches. She'll roll with it.
I would say
and if you can't confidently say that and feel it, I don't know. Because I know she'll roll with it. I know she'll roll with it. To the day that girl rides for me. No matter how much we argue, whatever, that girl rides for me. And I know 100% she gonna be there through everything. I mean, I think Miles, what were you about to say? Because I feel like if you around us, like you can just see it.
That's what I was saying. Like I think that's
in her at least.
I can see it in both of you guys. I think
I think that's
certainly come a long way. And I think it's very good that you're able to say that with confidence, and I'm very happy for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there were times where I was like, there was definitely some times in the past where I've been like, okay, is this like what's going on here?
Yeah, of course.
But I think,
and that's again learning each other and growing together, because there were certain things where it was almost a deal breaker. Not gonna lie, like we've had moments where it was like we might not be together, but and then when you talk about it, you come to find out it's just a misunderstanding.
Yeah,
it's not like what you were arguing about, what you almost broke up about. It was just because one side didn't clarify what they were trying to say, and that's communication. Some of that stuff can be solved. A lot of that stuff can be solved.
I think that. That is very true of relationships. Same thing goes with friendships.
Yeah,
100%.
Dude, if you can't like be with me when I'm like struggling through all this, you're not my friend. Not really.
Not only be with you, what are they doing to help you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's not all about handouts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a big fan of just throwing money at people like, hey, do this, do that. But if I see you struggling, if one of you guys gets hooked on heroin, right? One of you guys gets hooked on drugs, you think I'm supposed to just sit back and be like, well, I mean, we're friends. Like,
that's better be
what?
tough love to me.
Dude, Delonte West is an NBA player from DC, from the DC area. Played with LeBron, played with the Magic, played professionally for about, I want to say 10 to 12 years. Professional NBA player. You know, he had psychological problems on the street begging for cash and change for about 4 years. And I'm seeing teammates, LeBron, Jameer Nelson, NBA professional teammates that sweated with him, bled with him, went to the playoffs with him, played preseason with him, training camp. We're talking NBA seasons. Going on Twitter, retweeting videos of him begging for change and saying, oh man, damn, this is so sad. This is so crazy.
Yeah, that's interesting. What are you doing about it?
This is supposed to be your brother. This is my brother, man. This is sad. Yeah. You want to open your mouth and say that this is your brother, but you got him on the street begging for change? Listen, I'm not saying open your wallets 100%. People have families. People have, financial things they need to take care of. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if one of y'all gets hooked on heroin, or if I was to get hooked on heroin, if I was to get hooked on crack, and all of a sudden just be on the street in a crack house somewhere weighing 80 pounds looking for my next rock, I would never, ever expect any of you guys to at least not try to help to some capacity.
Yeah.
Like, yo, damn, what can we do? We might not be rich. We can't afford rehab, but what can we do? Right? How can we get him out of the situation? Okay, let me go pick him up. Let me give him a shower. Okay, maybe he could stay with me. Right? And that's a process because, crackheads still, it's a lot of things. But as a friend, as somebody that calls me my brother, I call you my brother, or any friend out there, if you're not willing to at least try and ride that out, you're not their friend.
Yeah.
You're not. And it don't matter what situation it is. Some people will say, oh, yeah, well, you can only go so far. What do you mean? As much time as you spend with that person, as many memories as you made, all that BS, that was all talk. Oh, man, we're going to be brothers. We talk about sitting in the chairs old in front of our house. You know what I'm saying? We talk about that. So what do I look like sitting here if you guys fall on hard times, if you can't pay your rent, if you're sitting here, you know what I'm saying? Miles and I about to get a place. If Miles ever comes to me and says, yo, I don't have the rent money, I'm not going to react to him like, of course I'm going to ask like, yo, why don't you got the rent money? We're going to have an honest discussion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to sit there like, okay, man, I guess. Yeah, damn, that would hurt. Because that's like, damn, so you really don't got nothing, right? Like you ain't getting nothing. You could at least come to me like, yo, I got $350. I'd be like, all right, we can make it work.
You like have the rent money. I don't know. I don't like this hypothetical.
Of course he would. I know, but I'm just saying, if he came to me like, yo, I don't got the rent money.
Don't worry,
you know
ladies,
what I'm saying?
I have a job.
We thought we'd avoid it.
No. It's relationships part 2.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like he comes to me telling me he don't have rent money. I'm not going to sit here, as a friend.
Have rent money.
He does have rent money. This is hypothetical, ladies. Hypothetical, okay? But anyone, as a friend, I would not sit here and do that. You got to find a way to make it up. Okay, the brother don't have the money. I don't have the money. We got to make it up. That's my boy. I'm gonna make it happen. And I think that is a friendship. Now, don't abuse it. Yeah, people got to also understand as a friend, in a relationship too. Don't abuse your partner's generosity because in a relationship, I think the generosity kicks up. In a friendship, I have a generosity, but to a Manny, like if a Manny asks me my time, I'm gonna try my best to give it to her. Like that's just my honest. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna give it if I'm doing something. I'm not gonna sacrifice that. Like I'm in the middle of something.
Yeah.
But if I'm free, you know what I'm saying, and if I had to shift some stuff around, I would do it. So she knows I'm very generous with that. She knows I'm generous about, and I think, of course, Melissa probably knows that you have a certain generosity.
I'll drive 15 minutes for a hug. If she needs one, I'll do it. I don't care.
I think that translates into anything, really. Like, what are you willing to, just being able to, I think time is really important to a lot of people.
Yeah.
With anybody, I know for me, I really do enjoy spending time with people. Like I enjoy spending time with you guys. Making sure that, Sunday's usually my homework day, but taking, 2 hours out of my day to do this, or on Fridays, I'm at the end of my week, I'm tired. I could be,
we still
I could be
going. We hang out for a long time too. It ain't short.
I could be going out to DTA, going to the bars by myself, and like,
you could
looking for a wife,
ladies.
That'll be us next year though. At the end of this year.
Yeah,
man.
So it's okay. I don't have to wait till December, but
Literally for the both of us.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But I was like, well, no, I'd rather be spending time with my friends.
Yeah.
And that goes for
Watching
not even not even just you guys. I mean, I do for a lot of my other friends. Just being able to like say, making time that's important for people.
Yeah,
I know it's important for me. I go a little crazy if especially amongst my closest circle if I go too long without seeing people.
Same.
That's why COVID was not good for me, especially early.
Yeah, same, man. I was depressed. Yeah.
But you
I think we all were.
In a partnership, like you should definitely be be able to move some things around. Now, of course, you have your obligations, work and stuff like that. That's like, hey, this keeping a roof, especially in in like a marriage or a partnership of that level, where it's like you need to keep this roof over our heads. So don't really got the time.
It's like it's like we said last week, or like I said last week. 1 day a week to just dedicate. At least 1 day a week to be like, this is date night.
Yeah.
Just being
not only that, man, praise your partner, bro. Praise your,
absolutely.
Especially for the men, man. Praise your women. Like, you gotta understand. I've come a long way in that. Like, you have to value. I think because I do a lot of the physical things. I do a lot of the driving somewhere. I'll drive far. I'll use my gas. I'll take you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll sacrifice. Like everything. But it's the emotional toll that it takes, and we talked about this on here also, for someone to listen to your problems and talk about your problems and talk you through things. I mean, the man, he's talking me through starting a business. She was there with me every step of the way. Like, I don't know if this deal's gonna close. Motherfucker just said he not gonna sign a contract. I thought I was about to make 6 bands. I'm about to make 0, right? Like, she's been with me through every part. And every partner, Tim, I'm sure when you have a rehearsal, you have a certain gig coming up, who's listening to you talk about all of the insecurities that you have about your plan?
Yeah. Literally every Monday before my lesson. I'm like, good morning. I'm nervous. Have a great day. Love you.
Yeah, like, I'm sucking right now, bro. This solo sucked. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything. And when you have somebody
it's the same
like
thing
that,
with you guys. It's like,
yeah, we all talk about it, but your partner's like your confidant. That's like the person that you're really in it with. Like, they're hearing things that you won't tell your friends. They're hearing things that you really won't. And there's nothing wrong with not telling your friends that, because some things you only need to tell your partner. Like certain feelings I have. So I definitely think that you need to make sure that you're taking the time out, even if you can't have a date night, every week. Wake up in the morning and roll over, and just give a kiss, you know what I'm saying, or leave a note, stuff like that. And I'm not with the cheesy stuff. I don't like cheesy stuff. But I'm willing to sacrifice my dislike for the cheesy for the right person. I'm willing to do that. Leaving the sticky notes, getting some flowers every now and then. For me, it's every couple of months. Don't shame me, but hey, it is what it is, right?
I don't think that's
bad. Man. Some people expect flowers. I don't know who.
You just have to know your partner.
You gotta know your partner.
Some people are like, that has to be a thing.
Some people love flowers.
Right. If you on the way to work, let's say you go to work when she gets home, she likes Reese's. Drop some Reese's off.
Hell yeah.
Throw some Reese's in there, man. I'm telling you,
those small things go a long way.
Oh, dude, especially candy.
Mega candy, bro. Candy saves relationships. It saved me. It saved me a couple of times, bro. I mean, even in arguments, like, nah, man, fuck. All right, I go out, I buy some candy, I come back. Here you go.
She does the happy dance.
Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? Starts tearing up. Well, we didn't have to fight anyway. I'm like,
you're not you when you're hungry. Have a Snickers.
You want a left Twix or right Twix? I mean, whichever one's gonna stop this arguing. You know what I'm saying? So that stuff, I think that stuff can definitely go a long way, man. Just and take the time to value your partner, and you might not be able to hang out all the time, but I think maybe
pay attention to
like
what they say.
Oh yeah.
Pay attention to like little things. That's another big thing. Like, just like I feel like people underestimate how much those little things go a long way. Just remembering even like small details that you think are like, whatever, like stuff like, what are their favorite snacks?
Yeah.
Maybe show up one day with their favorite snack, and because that'll imagine you just mentioned it in conversation one day, and your partner comes up to you, you know, like, hey, I got you this. I know you said you really like them, and it's like you forgot about the conversation, but that like, damn, you were paying attention that well to what I was saying.
It's kind of wild how well that like, or not just while that works, but just like how taken aback people are, you know.
Yeah.
I mean myself too. It's like, you know, I know you said you like this, or I know you said you didn't like this, so I did this for you. And you're like, what the?
Small things.
Thank you.
Or it's like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, like I know you're at work today and I'm off, but like you know, I'm gonna be near you, so like I'm getting lunch. Do you want me to bring you something? Stuff like that.
Yeah, that means, man, shifts of music and arts in Crofton when I'd have like a 10 a.m. to 6 on a Saturday. Oh my God. And just showing up with some like Chick-fil-A, showing up with some Subway. It's just like, oh, damn near cry sometimes, bro. Like that means a lot.
Seriously,
you know?
Let me tell you.
That means like, and then gift giving too, bro.
Yeah.
Gift giving. Like if you things that your partner wouldn't expect. Donations.
Gifts. Some people don't, and this is also all dependent on partners. I mean, some people actually don't like getting gifts because they're like, I don't want to feel like I owe something, you know. But
yeah, that's fine.
That's something you talk about with You talk about stuff like food.
Yeah.
Right.
Food.
Who's gonna be like, I don't like getting food. Like, shut up. Eat this food.
Yeah, be quiet.
I love you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I know definitely. Yeah. No, it's essential. I mean, just to know, like, if you guys, and for the couples that do like giving gifts, I'll say that just to preface it, because some people don't like it, you know. But like, I give gifts. I'm a gift giver. I think we don't give gifts. That's just our friendship. Like certain friendships, like I don't care about gifts. We don't need it. Our gift is time together. That's what I think. Like I love spending time with y'all. That's my gift. But
or like, I'll pay for this dinner for all you guys because it's your birthday. Yeah.
Exactly. But Miles, like he said, listening, like understanding what your partner likes. Like I got a freaking, you know, we love Thundercat. Like Thundercat's a very legend. We've already talked about him on the pod, but we're gonna keep talking about him.
I mean, our podcast is named after one of his songs.
Yeah. It's named after TurnDown. You know, if you haven't heard the album Drunk. Ooh.
Well, we can't say too much of it.
Yeah. We don't want to get copywritten. Yeah.
Don't sue us. Actually, that'd be kind of cool if you sued us. Well, no, it wouldn't. That'd suck a lot.
No, because then we'd be on his bad side. I want to be on his good side. Like,
see Thundercat's name, you're like, yay! But then it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You feel bad because then you got to pay him money.
Hey, Thundercat, please listen to our podcast.
Please. We're inspired by you.
We're clipping this and we're tagging him.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Teach me to play better.
Jesus. Teach me harder.
But
not because you're a rabbit, but because you're black.
Not because you play bass.
But no, I was just gonna say that like listening is very big. She got me a vinyl of like one of my favorite artists. That's awesome. I never even told her that I wanted it. Ever. Like we never had a conversation. She just remembers me hype about his album. It Is What It Is. Go stream It Is What It Is. It was a Grammy Award winning album, progressive R&B. But yeah, she heard me streaming it, and you know I loved it. I was spazzing over it, and she just happened to get me, and I think it was the premium one because it was a red vinyl. All red.
That was crazy.
That's beautiful.
Glossy, and I played it, and it sounds amazing.
I remember we just saw the line on the border of the album, and I was like,
we knew what it was.
I was like, she didn't.
No, she couldn't have. I didn't think it was that. I thought it was gonna be a jazz album or something. I would have been just as happy with that.
Right. Yeah.
But when we saw,
that's another thing. Like just appreciating those things, like no matter what. Like just
it could be a pair of socks, bro. Like it don't matter. Like you took the time out of your day to buy something, and you know think about me. Wow.
Yeah, I like getting pants, cardigans, and like flannels.
Oh man, sweatpants. I love sweatpants. Yeah. My mom got me 2 pairs of sweatpants for Christmas, and I near jumped off my bed, bro. Sweatpants, because I can wear those with anything. I could wear them any day. I get out the house. I just need some sweats.
Yeah,
I don't need to be wearing.
That's how I feel about like jeans and khakis.
Like, I like. What is an item of clothing that I just wear a lot? Like I just have a lot of. I don't think about that.
That you wear, that you get a lot of wear out of, or that you just.
I just wear a lot. Like you know, like stuff like
your trench. I think you wear your trench are hefty.
That's expensive though.
Yeah,
but I'm thinking like
so you better be getting the wear out of that.
You definitely wear dress shirts.
Ladies, if you want dress shirts, true. Turtlenecks.
Yeah. Turtlenecks. Yeah.
Yes. Turtlenecks. Yes.
I am generally a very women of the TurnDown audience. Please.
The man is fly. The man is fly.
The man is fly.
I know the YouTube videos. I'm in my room. Listen, I'm chilling. I'm not gonna dress.
He doesn't really miss days. That's another thing. You don't really have days where it's like you're not like at least dress like nice casual.
Yeah. Even when I'm dressing casual, it's like it's fashion forward. Come on. What more can you ask for? Yeah. Don't answer that. Just the point is, date me.
Goodness.
Please. I'm once again asking for your support.
Oh, emotional support.
And I think that's a perfect way to end the episode with the donations and the gifts.
Donations
from all the ladies. Again, remember, applications. We are accepting applications for sure. Like, I mean, inquiries. We definitely see a lot of people viewing. We see a couple of people liking the videos.
So, like,
we are accepting applications.
What's going on? We're accepting applications.
Yeah, we were talking about merch the other day. I think we also we have Kendrick's Mama Cute.
Yes, Mama
shirt.
Cute.
I think we need to get a Miles shirt that says anywho.
Anywho,
and then it says on the back King of Segway.
King of Segways, Miles Malone.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And then it's a like just not his actual face, but the hair and then the outline of his
yes. That actually would be kind of cool.
That would be fly, man.
Yeah. Can't be anything about
out here design.
Date me, please.
Yes, date me, please.
Because if when I do get into a relationship, that's gonna be kind of awkward.
Yeah. That's why.
Hey, so Miles, what is this about?
Listen, they weren't put in the applications. That's what I'm saying. Once the applications go in, I mean, you'll never have to hear me again. So somebody has to step up.
Of course.
Someone has to take.
Not only that, it will be reviewed with the quickness. We're not going to do you like College Park. Okay, we're going to review it very quick, in a hurry. You're going to get some financial aid. You're also going to be getting, a special letter back.
I'm telling you. Like, listen, there's no way you're going to regret this. Like,
no way.
Almost no way. There's some way you could regret this, but I promise I'm going to try my best to make sure that doesn't happen.
Nah, you're not going to regret it. Just make.
You're not going to regret it.
Make that.
What do you have to lose? Like,
all right, y'all, it's been good.
Anyway, thank you guys.
Close family, friends.
All right, thank you guys for tuning into episode 8.
Love you guys. Thank you for listening.
Podcast.
Maybe like your.
Thank you so much. Miles is going to keep talking about his relationship, and we're going to be back next week
until it happens.
9. Until it happens, send in the applications, ladies. Bye bye. Thank you again.